Luck is undeniably a part of UHC. Sometimes I ask myself if that's why I find it so fun. Is UHC just one big casino and we're all a bunch of degenerates addicted to gambling? Maybe, but at the same time, each player has control. We have control over our gameplay, and we have a lot of control over the environment itself. I chose to dig to that spider sound instead of digging straight down all the way to Y11. I got lucky, but I also made a decision based on that luck. And then I went to surface and died. Maybe the lesson is that luck is always there and we just have to look for it. That's a nice thought, right? Or maybe the lesson is that having more crafts is OP. Which, you know. Ultimately, if there's one thing I know for sure, being a 2-star fucking sucks. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that little intro. I'm trying out a new style for this video, obviously. I guess let me know what you guys think in the comments. It seemed like some people liked my last video, but I thought it was a little long for only 3 games. So I'm trying to be a little bit faster paced with this video. As we watch me build up to fight this guy, by the way, I literally only have Sharp the Iron, and I did find a bow though, so like honestly I'm actually doing pretty well this game in terms of gear. I want to talk about channel plans and also specifically Road to 7-star series plans. I was thinking about ways I want to do the series, because if I made like 3 game videos like the first episode in the series, there's no way it would work. That would roughly add up to like, I don't know, around 225 videos before I hit 7-star, unless I played like out of my mind, which there's just no way that's gonna happen. So I think how I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna start uploading just like a lot of normal UHC content and then some other occasional Minecraft content. I don't only want to make UHC. I know most of you are probably here for the UHC and you're more than welcome to ignore my other content, but I probably will do a little bit of other stuff too. And I'm mainly going to do that for the majority of the time. I don't want to give a specific time because it really comes down to how long it takes me to hit each star, but every time I hit a star, I'll make a updated episode of the Road to 7-star series, and those videos will always be a much longer, more like thorough video, kind of like this one, but maybe even a little bit bigger, as there'll be way more games than there were in this one. In summary, you can basically expect just normal like single game or couple game videos in between each star, and then every few weeks or month or however long it takes me to get to each star, you can expect a really big Road to 7-star series video. Beyond that, I think that covers it. I just want to say thanks to everyone who's been watching. It's been really cool. So let's just get to the in-game commentary. So after that one guy who ate that head to run away, this other guy came in and he had full unenchanted iron, so I was pretty confident I could kill him, and I was right. I got him in this little lake and killed him. And then I started looting. I missed and dropped the head, which is so bad, so I tried to get it real quick. And before I could get it, the other guy actually came back, and he just, I did not stand a chance. He did so much damage, and I died super fast. Going into the next game, I found a diamond vein right away, and this vein was freaking huge. I got 10 diamonds from it, and shortly after, I found a creeper, so I was actually going to be able to make a dragon sword this game, and a diamond chestplate. I went to surface, because I needed to get flowers still to make my dragon sword, and as I was going up to get the flowers, I actually saw a guy and he saw me, and we just sort of looked at each other. I don't think either of us really wanted to fight because he ran away, so I went back to getting my dragon sword. So I was feeling pretty confident, like I felt pretty stacked this game. As I was running to 0, this guy came in behind me and he was a 7-star, so I was a little bit apprehensive to fight him, but he seemed a little bit nervous as well. He kind of backed off. He got rid of a lava bucket and got an extra water bucket. I'm not sure what the strategy behind that was, but I was like, I'm just going to go for the fight. I totally forgot I had snowballs for some reason and just didn't use them, but it kind of worked out. I got a pretty good little combo here on this guy, and it's sword modifier. I do so much damage, so he started running and I was able to drop him. He dropped with some gaps and I was able to make a G head and diamond boots, and then I also got his Tarn helm on top of that, so now I was 3/4 diamond, so I was actually feeling pretty stacked. I went to 0-0 and looked around and I didn't really see anyone, and then this guy came out of nowhere. I don't know if he was like tracing, because his hits don't, let's just say he has long arms. I feel like he has very long arms. And he, yeah, you can hear me say he's cheating so hard. I don't know, he might not be cheating that hard, but he was probably cheating a little bit hard. And I just gave up after that, and I got a 1-kill win, or 1-kill game, unfortunately. This next game, I actually found a spawner, which was pretty cool. The chest had 4 gunpowder and 4 string, so I thought maybe I could make another dragon sword, and I could either have a bow and a rod as well. Then shortly after, I strip mine into diamonds, which was huge, because now I could for sure make a dragon sword. There were, I think, 6 diamonds in this vein, yeah. So that was boots and a dragon sword, and then I found more. And this was a 4 vein, so I could make a chestplate and a sword again, which was huge, and that's what I did. As I was running to 0, just out of my render distance, I actually saw this guy like behind a mountain, because he rendered in, but the terrain didn't, which was so lucky, because this guy, he was a naked, so it was kind of a free kill, and I don't even think he saw me coming. He just kind of died in 2 hits because of sword mod. I guess he's a naked, so he probably would have died in like 2 or 3 hits anyway. I went to 0, I saw a bunch of stacked people, and I wasn't really sure what to do, so I was kind of just running around looking for a fight, and that's when this guy spotted me, who was 3/4, and I obviously don't want to take that fight, so I started running, and this guy chased me for so long, for 6 minutes, I believe, until deathmatch. This clip is sped up by 20 times. This is 20 times faster than it lasted. Like, it was such a ridiculous chase. I went into DM though, and there was almost no one left. There was this one full iron guy, and I was like, please let me get this kill. And I don't know how. The guy one-tapped it. On my screen, he wasn't even looking at him. It was like behind him. So it was just a very unfortunate game, but it is what it is. The last people left was just it was just him and then my friend, actually, Purple Potatoes. Hi Purple, if you're watching this. And Purple Potatoes was very stacked. He had like 9 kills, I think, and I had 1 kill and had no healing, so he had no mercy. He is a bad friend, I guess, and he just brutally killed me. Game 11, our final game, actually was a flower power, which is awesome. The modifier is so good for low stars, so I felt like I actually had a chance for once. The first 5 minutes I didn't really get anything, but then at the same time I found Fenrir and Pandora's Box, which are both okay. The Pandora's Box had Insta L3, which is actually pretty good because it heals 8 hearts. I went up this little hill a few seconds later and I found Barbarian chestplate, which that thing is actually so good. It's pretty much the best chestplate in the game. Shortly after I found Drag Armor, which is also a good chestplate, so I'd have it as backup. And then I found Bloodlust, so at least I would have a sword. And then I found Expert Seal, and Expert Seal is probably my favorite craft in the game, and it's also probably one of the most broken. It upgrades anything with an enchantment on it by 1 level, if you don't know. So like you can make a Sharpness 3, a Sharpness 4, and I had 6 of them. I actually got 2 diamond blocks earlier in the game, so real quick I crafted full diamond armor just before PvP turned on. I kept exploring, and just as PvP was turning on, I crested this hill and found a flower forest, which obviously is like the most OP thing you can get in flower power. I got obsidian right away, which enabled me to craft a dragon sword, and then I went to my anvil to put my Book of Thoth, which I got earlier on it, but I couldn't afford it. And then literally a few seconds later, I got the perfect thing. I got a Pandora's Box with 40 XP levels. I didn't really want to waste any time, so I kept breaking flowers right away, and I got a Daredevil, but honestly, I didn't even care about Daredevil. Then I got a Flask of Ichor, which is so good, especially in flower power, because it ignores how good someone's armor is. Unfortunately, the border was closing in, so I had to leave the flower forest, but my time there had definitely been worth it. Just before I left, I stopped and splashed down some XP so I could make a better sword. About a minute later, I got a second Expert Seal, which meant that at this point I had about as many expert seals as I would want for the rest of the game. Then another minute later I found a Cupid's bow, which would be a pretty good bow for now. I expert sealed it right away, giving me power 3, flame 2. Shortly after I found a notch apple, which would be so good later on. Then a few seconds after I found a modular bow and a flask of ichor, which would be so good. The modular bow is probably the best bow for flower power because it penetrates through everyone's insanely OP armor. After that, I was running out of flowers, so I decided to just get some blocks, make some arrows, and use a master's compass to hopefully find somebody to fight. I ran for a while, and just as I was getting to the border, I turned around and saw a guy just at the edge of my render distance. He didn't look too stacked, he didn't even have a helmet, but just in case I expert sealed my sword and then ran at him. As I got close, he saw me and he went in, so I was a little scared, but this guy didn't seem to really know what he was doing, and he missed a lot of his hits. And since it was sword mod, my dragon sword just shredded through him and he died really fast. As I started looting, I saw another player running in, but they had even less stuff than the last guy, so I went back in to fight them. And unfortunately, with iron armor, you just take so much damage from sword mod, and then they got lag back too. It was just really unlucky for them, so they died almost instantly to me. And just like that, I had 2 kills. While I was looting, the second player I killed actually added me, and it turns out that she'd actually seen one of my videos before, which is so cool, dude. So huge shout out to Draculara for watching a video and helping me do well in this game. I went the next 10 or so minutes getting pretty much nothing that interesting, but just as it was getting close to deathmatch, I actually saw a player on a hill, and I decided, I might as well fight them. I was a little scared though, because they were full diamond, and you know, it was pretty close to deathmatch, so they might have gotten a lot of stuff. They started running at me, and I was kind of a little scared of what they might have, so I just sort of started bowing and backing up a little bit. And then real quick, I got a flask of ichor out of my inventory, and I got a direct hit on them, which is actually so good. I could tell it definitely threw them off because they started backing up. I potted a velocity, and they did so much damage with their sword, but they were low, so they started running. They like ran into this little swamp, and I thought I was going to be able to just kill them with an ichor, but I missed it. So they were alive on 7 HP, and they ran away. I ate a G-head to try and catch them, but I couldn't catch up, and then they splashed a potion of velocity that gave them a ton of distance. They ended up stopping to drink a potion, which allowed me to catch up, but I was kind of worried about the potion, and it turned out to be deuce, so I couldn't do anything to them. But then they didn't even go in, they just sort of ran away and then towered up, so I went back and chased them. They ran into this little cave and I shot them, and I was like pretty sure they'd have a notch apple at this point, but they were so low that I thought maybe I could kill them before they were able to eat it, because they'd probably try and wait to the last minute so they could trap me in there with them. So I started digging after them, and I almost fell into a little foot trap here, but it actually lagged me back and I was able to get out. So thank goodness, because that could have been so bad. So then I just dug above them, and I was able to just jump down on them, and they didn't actually have a notch apple. They had no healing left, so I was just able to kill them and get my 3rd kill of the game. I went back up to surface and basically spent the rest of the time just sorting through loot because it was almost DM anyway. Just like that, we entered DM. I had honestly a lot of stuff. I had 2 G-heads, I had like a bunch of panaceas and like instant health potions, which would be really good, and I had 6 scaps, and then I still had my notch apple. My gear was okay, honestly. It wasn't great. My armor was still like kind of low tier, like P2 and stuff, and my sword was still Sharp 3, so I was really going to be relying on my modular bow in this game, and that is what I did. Let me tell you, I shot so many people in this deathmatch. Pay attention to my arrow count. If you look at the bottom right of the screen, you'll see like that I have about 140 arrows right now. Just watch what that number gets to by the end of this deathmatch. So yeah, I was kind of just running around and shooting people. Fortunately, at first, no one was really going for me, so I was just getting free damage in without really taking any of my own. This guy dropped here, so I went in to try and get some loot, but I'm pretty sure my inventory was already full, so I didn't really pick anything up. I included that shot because it's kind of a cool shot, and then that shot was pretty cool too. This guy, for some reason, decided he really wanted me, and his sword did so much damage. I did not want to fight this guy. I had speed 2 from my bow shot, and I ran, and then I kept running, and this guy had speed. He was catching up. I was very scared. I had to eat a G-head because I almost dropped to him. He did so much damage. He got me in this little like corner here, and then another guy started hitting me, and I was like, why is this guy hitting me? So I was forced to use my notch apple, and then of course they both immediately ran away. I got a few more shots in on this guy, but he just kept running. Then he came back. I don't know why this guy wanted me so bad, but he had more speed and he started running at me again. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die to this guy. Like, why does he want me so bad? Maybe he knows my armor is weak somehow. He got some hits in and I had to eat my second G-Ed, which kind of sucked, but I did still have a lot of healing, so it wasn't the end of the world. I kind of went in for a melee here, which was probably a terrible idea, but luckily it actually kind of worked. Like, it seemed to get him to back off a little bit. So it gave me some time to eat a gap, and then I started using my brain and I switched my bow to punch, and I punched him back a few times, and that seemed to do the trick as he kind of backed off. He like hid behind this building a little bit, but didn't really do anything. And then the deathmatch became so slow. Everyone was just hiding. I sped this up ×8 because nothing was happening forever. I started just shooting people. I got a nice little shot there, and just here's like a little bow montage of me just getting some cool shots. That was a pretty nice shot, like 60 blocks. So I was pretty much just doing damage. I think I was the only one for this like whole period really doing damage to anyone else. Like a couple other people shot some arrows occasionally, but it was mostly just me just shooting these 3 guys over and over again because no one wanted to fight, which I kind of get. They probably all had kills. Here's the thing, is it's flower power, so I thought I would have at least a decent amount of kills compared to these guys. Like, I might have a chance of winning off kills, because usually people don't get more than like 5 kills in flower power. They all started shooting me, so I built up behind this little thing because I was like taking way too much damage, and then they all started towering up, and I'm like, how many kills do these guys have? They just don't want to fight at all. So I just continued shooting people. I was getting shot at as well, of course, but you know, out of nowhere, this one guy went under the other guy and they started fighting, and I didn't really expect either of them to die because just based on the way everyone was playing, I thought everyone had stuff, but that guy died like so fast. I think he was like kind of trying to saggy to him because he didn't want the other 2 of us to kill him for whatever reason. And then the guy just built right back up, so I was like, okay, and I started just shooting again. It's basically just me shooting for a year. I went in and got a couple of melee hits on this guy, or actually just one. And he just built back up. Like, they were not coming down. And then he swung at the other guy. Like, I should be hitting him, but I'm like, neither of you seem to be worried about your healing, so I don't really know if it matters who I shoot at this point. And I felt like I was doing even damage anyway. And then this guy, after swinging at the other guy, came in on me. And I'm like, bro, you're a hypocrite. Like, what, you think the other guy's the threat, but now you're going for me instead. So I was kind of confused by that. I had to chug a panacea because I almost dropped. It did an insane amount of damage, and then he came back in and I was like, oh god, I'm probably gonna die here. I drank my second panacea, which thank god I had those things. Those things are so OP. They basically saved me the game here. And I positioned myself behind the water and was able to kind of back off. I drank my instant health 3, which is probably a little premature to drink it, but whatever. I was kind of scared. I just hung back from here and just shot the other guy. I accidentally shot him with punch, but it kind of actually worked because it punched him up close to the other guy's tower, and then it seemed like he just started breaking the leaves from there. I got a few backstab hits on him and backed off again, and he didn't seem very interested in me. He managed to knock the other guy down though, and they just started fighting. And then I realized, oh, there's only 10 seconds left, so none of us are gonna die here. I wasn't sure if I had enough kills, and it turned out I didn't even have close to enough. Someone got 9 kills in a flower power, which might be the most kills I have ever seen in a flower power. But we all survived, so at least I didn't take the death. I got a few kills, and it was a really good game, so I'm not too upset about that. Hey, guys, press subscribe. Thanks.